Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm here today to talk about some of the misinformation that I've seen on these YouTube streets. And I did post a link in the chat if you'd like to come up and join me. If there's something that you've seen that you feel is misinformation on the YouTube streets, you're more than welcome to come up and join me on the panel. It's an open chat. Everybody's welcome to join in. Please comment, tell me what you think. And today I'm not ranting, I promise. Not yet, anyway. We'll see what happens. I don't understand why there's so much misinformation on YouTube platforms, lies, misinformation, false accusations. I guess I just don't understand. You know, if they really, really need that for clicks and views, that's really sad. Really, really sad. And like I said yesterday, I do hope that if they are putting out misinformation, false accusations, lies, that they should be held accountable. And I stand by that 100%. Like I said, this is just a really small channel. It's not really here to discuss these things, but we'll discuss it. Again, I'm not monetized. I don't make any money for coming on here and talking. I have no bias, agenda. I just have some free time setting up some investigations, paranormal investigations that will be starting here soon. So we'll have some new videos to upload. And like I said, the videos that I have on here, a lot of them are very small because we were with groups. And when you're with a group, there's too much noise contamination. And so there was very, very little that I could upload. I believe one group was at Anchorage and one group was at Bobby Mackey's, and then another one was at a jail in Ohio. And I was with a group with all of those. And so there was very little that I could upload. Then I did upload what I could. And like I said, this is a real paranormal investigation channel. We don't fake anything if we don't catch it. We show you what we don't catch. If we have something that we feel is interesting, we'll discuss it. We'll try to debunk it in any way we can. Again, we don't try to go in and prove that something is haunted. We go in to prove that it's not haunted. And if it proves us wrong, then we have the evidence to back it. We have facts, nothing faked. I do have some more equipment that we can go over. I can show you. I think the SLS, I got it charged. The GS2, I got charged. If you look at my videos, you'll see the difference in the video cameras. You'll see the night vision, of course, the IR. You'll see the, I think I have some regular footage without any night vision. And then the pink is the full spectrum. And I do like the the pink, the full spectrum in pink, because I can pick up stuff better in pink than I can in green. I think it has different colors. I think green and pink. I do like the pink. And then we have, of course, the trail cams, and they will have regular camera and night vision, and they are audio and video. And they're really nice. They catch any movement. You can set them on for movement and it will record. So you have, you can just set them up, walk away, and you know there's nothing that will interfere with it or contaminate it. I have been looking at a few more pieces of equipment, doing a little more research on them, because like I said before, I like to really check it out, research it, see what is it supposed to be, what is it supposed to look like, what's it supposed to do. And then I'll determine if it's something that I want to put in my paranormal investigation toolbox. Because I have my little toolbox suitcases and totes and backpacks, and got multiple toolboxes, I guess. I also wanted to let everybody know that things are getting a little better, adjusting to the loss of my beautiful Maltese. We're adjusting. It's getting a little easier every day. I still miss my buddy. He was my world. And you'll see in some of my videos, even on my deck videos, you'll see my little white Maltese on his own little chair. Wherever mommy was, he was right there. But I'll wait and see if anybody comes in. This is awful early. I'm still working on my second cup of coffee. I slept in actually this morning. And then got up and got a few things done, and then went across the road to help my little neighbor. She's paralyzed, so I have to help her out of bed and into her mobile chair, her electric chair, and I got her all settled and got her some nice cool water, and she's out on her deck in the shade watching the birds come in and the hummingbirds. To me, that's so rewarding to be able to help. I'm glad she has the tools there that I don't have to do a whole lot. The tools do everything for me, the lifts and everything, because I'm not able to do it like I used to. I used to work in home health, and I was a CNA as well and worked in nursing home. And I just loved helping the elderly. It just was very fulfilling to me. I know some people, it may not be something they like, but I've always enjoyed helping someone. So today I've helped someone. I hope today you help someone. That's how I look at my day. Did I do something today that made me a better person than I was yesterday? Have I been able to help somebody today and not hurt anybody today or harm them in any way? And I'm getting ready to light my candle. I always light a candle, bring a little light into this dark world we're living in right now. A little light, a little love. Get my candle lit here. I'm running a little behind because I went to my rainbow. All right, we got the candle lit. And again, like I said, I'm running a little behind, but it's okay. I know that I helped somebody this morning and it made me feel good. And to see the smile on her face, and for her to know I'm just next door and she can call me and I can go over and help her anytime she needs me. It's a relief to her family. It's a relief to her. And I'm looking forward to some summer vacation, some camping, some adventures, summer adventures. I've looked at a few different places I'd like to go visit, go do investigations. Hopefully my rant didn't scare anybody off yesterday. I was just very upset with what I was seeing on the YouTube streets. If you're just coming in, I was a little bit late this morning. Again, like I said, I do help my neighbor next door when she needs me. She's paralyzed. And I went over and helped her this morning to get up and into her chair. And her aides won't be there till 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that way, if she needs me, all she has to do is give me a call. I'm right across the road. And it was so wonderful to see her smile, to go out on her porch and she's watching her hummingbirds, and she's got a nice shady porch and a nice breeze over there this morning. And it just made my heart feel good to know that I helped somebody this morning. Their smile was worth $1 million to me. That's just amazing. So if you're just coming in, we're just talking about anything. It's an open chat. I posted the link in the chat if you want to come up and talk and join in. Just talking about some of the misinformation that I've been seeing on YouTube. Lies, misinformation, false accusations. It's sad. It's sad. Again, like I said, this channel is not monetized, so I don't come on here with any bias agenda, or non-biased agenda, should I say. I'm not biased at all. I just believe that people should not be profiting off of tragedy for clicks and views. I'm sorry, that's, in my opinion, that's horrible. I also gave an update on how I'm doing after I lost my Maltese, my beautiful 13-year-old Maltese rebel. I'm doing better every day. It's getting a little easier. It's still a big adjustment. I still keep looking for him. I guess it's going to be a while. I went to they have like this big, it's almost like as half the size of a Walmart. It's a huge, what I think used to be a Hex store. And when you go in on weekends, the whole parking lot's filled up, like yard sales all over the whole entire huge parking lot. And then you go in the building and there's all these little stores divided up. And I went up there last weekend and was looking around, and this little white dog come up and put his little paws up on my leg. And it almost broke my heart because of losing Rebel, my beautiful white Maltese. And it was almost like he knew that I was mourning my dog. And even his owner said, well, that's really strange because he doesn't really do that to anyone. And I told her that I had just lost my Maltese. And she said, well, he must sense that because he just doesn't do that. He's here all day with us every weekend, and he just doesn't walk up to someone and make up to them like that. So I thought that was very precious. Nature has a way of sending out love in unexpected ways. And I come home and told my husband about it, and he said, is he for sale? And I said, no, 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 no. He said, I was going to say, don't you go back up there and get him because we already decided no more. I said, no, no, no. No, I can't just replace him. I'm not like that. And I don't think my husband or I, either one, are ready to go through another heartache like that. And I still have my cat, the one I rescued from the animal shelter, Humane Society. And he was just a kitten, and now he's a big cat, and he's so lovable. And I think that him and Rebel were so close that he's still looking for his buddy. He still misses his buddy. And then I also did an update on, was talking about that I did charge some of the batteries up for my paranormal equipment. Well, we're getting ready to go do a few investigations. And so I got my SLS camera charged, my GS2 charged. I think I showed the GS2 on one of my lives, but it wasn't charged. It has the red laser that makes a grid, square grids all the way across the wall. And then if anything comes up close to it, it alarms, and then it has temperature and distance lighting. And then the center has little blue lights or red lights. If it's cold, it'll light up with blue lights, and if it's red, it'll light up with red lights. And it will almost make a figure if there's something there breaking the laser grid. It's a very nice piece of equipment. Well, hello, Luca. How are you doing today? Good to see you. I just come on today to talk about basically anything, an open chat today. If you want to come up and join me on the live stream, I did put the link. You can come up and join me if you want to for an open chat. But there's been some interesting stuff going on. Good to see you. What is upsetting me? Well, I'm not true crime or paranormal, but I have been following a lot of the true crime and missing persons on the YouTube, Luca, and the misinformation, the false accusations, and the clickbait for views, and the way that people are profiting off of the families and loved ones of a missing child and profiting off of that missing child or missing person. It is terrible, terrible. And I mean, it's hashtag the missing person's name in their thumbnail title, and so they can get more clicks and views, and just sit there behind a computer with a microphone. They don't go out and look for this missing person. At least 90% of them don't. I mean, I understand that social media is a good way to keep missing persons' names out there. But when people are using that for profit, it's disgusting, in my opinion. My phone battery is very low and my PC is missing. I'm like, what case? what I've been seeing for the last several months is it could be any case, but a missing child, they will just snatch onto that one something terrible. Um, there's a young autistic boy. He's a high spectrum autistic that went missing, and it has been now almost 4 months. And they have just, that's, I mean, and I could understand it if it was actual facts that they're bringing forth with breaking news, but it's not. It's rumors, it's um, false accusations. They will take teams, and I'm on this one's team, and I'm on that one's team. And instead of being there for the family and loved ones and holding them up and praying for them, and they right now they need love, they need hope, they need strength, and they're already mentally, emotionally, and mentally exhausted, and people are taking advantage of that and profiting off of it. And to me, that is disgusting. I can come up if it helps from my laptop, but I'm tired and my accent is strong. Plus, my dyslexia is kicking in when I'm tired. That's okay, sweetheart. If you don't have to come up if you don't want to. I just wanted to come on yesterday. If you watch my live from yesterday, I basically laid a lot of it out yesterday, and then today I just basically wanted to come on and talk about some of the misinformation and false accusations and lies, and the misuse of social platforms that could be doing so much good. And it's shameful. It's shameful. And of course, I'm not, I'm just getting used to StreamYard, and I'm just learning how to operate everything. But I would love to start reviewing some of them. And yesterday I was calling them out for what they were doing. And I would just love to start reviewing them. And I hope at some point that the loved ones and families of these missing persons starts to hold these platforms and creators responsible for their actions. If that was my loved one, I would sue the pants off of them. I would be sending out, to my own family at this point. If someone went missing, I'd be sending out to each one of them all the information I have on what I've seen on social media, and advising my family not to use social media unless they feel that they can go in and pick up what is left, the pieces after they have got done with social media and the destructiveness that they do. Now, some channels I praised yesterday because they are there for that reason. So to call them out, and I praise them. I will come in for a bit, but I feel this is making your soul heavy. It is. It's really making my soul heavy. It's heartbreaking. I was a grandmother of a missing grandchild, so I know 100% what it feels like to be in that position with a missing person firsthand. And maybe that's why I got so upset, is because whenever you have someone missing, you will reach out to any bit of hope, any chance, of hope. And for people to be playing on emotions, taking advantage of these people at a time that is so tragic in their life. I would tell my family, be very careful who you choose. But like I said, what does make my heart feel good and my soul is I also not only seen the misinformation going out and the profit off of tragedies, but I'm also seeing creators that are coming out and calling these people out, reviewing them, um, letting people see what they're doing. And I back those people 100% that are doing that are calling them out, that are letting people see the true person, the true creator, and what they're doing. And I back those people 100%. And I told them that yesterday, and God bless them, each and every one of them. And I stand behind them 100% because it's amazing that there is people out there that are trying to stop what's going on, and that there is actual platforms that if these people do need to reach out and they do have a missing person, there is platforms that they can trust, that they can reach out to, because they're going to need that. They're definitely going to need that. And yeah, but I mean, you just have to see it coming up in a bit. Okay, thank you, Luca. Yeah, you'll just have to go to some of the true crime platforms and then you'll see what I'm talking about. And like I said, you're going to find a few, and I'm so proud of the few that are calling them out, that are reviewing them, that are holding them accountable for their actions. And I stand behind them 100%. I think they're amazing. They're doing an awesome job, and I stand behind them 100%. Keep up the good work. God bless each and every one of you that are doing that. But to the platforms that are out there that are using missing persons and these families and loved ones' tragedies to profit, shame on you. That is just horrible. And some of it is just absolutely downright deplorable. But thank goodness that there is some good platforms. Like I said, I'm not true crime, I'm paranormal. But it's really hard for you to sit back as a grandmother who had a missing grandchild. So you know firsthand what you're going through when you have a missing person. And to see the stuff going on, it is not good. So, like I said, this is really not the platform for it. But it was laid on my heart to say something because I've been there firsthand. I had a grandmother of a missing granddaughter, and to me, it's horrible to see it happen. These families really need love, understanding. They are mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. They need people when they are so tired and weak and can't make the next step. They need people to be there to hold them up and to be there to help them, and not just put false accusations out as a clickbait to get views and profit. It's like they chose money over morals and clicks and clickbait over compassion. And it makes your heart sad to see such things. Because social media can be used for such good. Keep the names of the missing out there. Right now, I know in my state of Ohio alone, I was absolutely shocked at the number of missing persons. And I don't know that I have seen any platform on social media even mention any of the ones from Ohio. It seems to be they will pick the ones that they know that they can make the most money off of, that they can profit off of, and they just get on that train and they ride that train till it goes clear over the cliff of totally irresponsible and unreal. Hopefully that train they're on goes over the cliff and right into the dumpster, because karma will serve up the platter that's deserved. And I hope and pray that it never happens, but one day it may be them or their family. And believe you me, when karma serves up that platter they deserve, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And it's like they have no shame, none, no conscience. It's all about making the money. And maybe I'm too old, maybe I'm old school, and I mean, I'm 61, I'll be 62 in December, and I've worked all my life. I think I got my first job when I was 18, and I worked up until I was injured on the job site, and then it ended up disabling me, and I was not able to work anymore. And even, like I said, I come on today late because I have a neighbor that lives next door and she's paralyzed. And if she doesn't have an aid available, all she has to do is call me, because she has lifts and equipment and everything, and I can go over and help her because I'm not able to do anything. But I can walk over if she needs, something, and be there for her. And just to see the smile on her face, to me, that is worth a whole day's pay, you know, just to be able to go over and give her some of my free time. She's there, she's by herself. She may only want a glass of ice water, or she may want a book to read, and just knowing that I got up today and I went over and helped somebody, and then her smile was my biggest payday. You could just see how happy she was. And maybe I'm just too old school. And that's just like even with my paranormal channel. I wanted to make sure that people realize that this is a real paranormal investigating channel, that we don't fake anything. You're not going to see a lot of great big videos on there. And like I said, a lot of times we go in, we don't catch anything. And we don't go in to prove that a place is haunted. We go in to prove that it's not haunted. And we pull out every tool in the toolbox, to prove that it's not haunted, to do a complete, thorough investigation. So I can't be fake. I'm not even going to try to be fake, won't be fake. And if my channel never grows to the point that it is ever monetized, not going to bother me a bit. But I hope that the things that I do put on here is educational for people. Like with I seen one creator sitting there behind the computer with a camera on doing a spirit box for a missing child for hours, collecting super chats and money and putting it out like this was something real. It's not real. It's fake. So that's why I come on there and did that live about the spirit boxes and phone apps and how they should never be used as facts, that they are created for entertainment purposes only. That yes, you can be somewhere and be bored, you can pull them out and use them. It may come through with something. Well, hello.
Hello there. I'm going to stop the webcam. I just put it on to put a face.
Okay, that's fine. I got my camera off this morning. So how are you doing, Luca?
Well, it's very hot in here. It's like almost 40 degrees. So Celsius.
Oh, you're in Celsius. So what would that be in Fahrenheit? Right now it's
Uh,
75 here in Fahrenheit.
in Fahrenheit means 100,
Wow.
around 100. Yes.
Wow. You in the AC keeping cool?
No, I wish.
Staying hydrated?
Yes, I drink a lot. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Because I had the impression that I have feedback, an echo. Yeah, I try to drink a lot of water and whatever, but it's so hot in here, like humidity is very dense, which is bad. So it is what it is. It's summer. It's very in here is very hot in the summer and very cold in the winter.
Now, we've had 90-degree weather and 100-degree weather. Today, I think, is kind of cool. It's humid, but I think we're supposed to get rain today.
Well, I wish for the rain, but I think that wishing for that doesn't help much.
Yeah, some of the cases that I was talking about, Luca, you'll have to just go on to some of the true crime on YouTube and just start watching it. And it will break your heart to see how they are using families of missing children and families of missing people, period, and sitting there and collecting money. I mean, we'll be on there for hours, and it's false accusations. It's accusing family members of doing something, and there's no evidence of foul play at all. When this person went missing, no one has been accused by law or arrested by LE, law enforcement, and they
Yeah.
go in there for hours and just keep spewing false information. And it is so sad. And like I said, I when my granddaughter went missing, I was beside myself. So I know what it feels like to be in their shoes, to have a missing person. You don't sleep, you're not eating right. Every time the phone rings, your heart drops. And you finally get to the point where you're mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted, and you will reach out to any little bit of hope, even a small amount of hope. And for them to be doing that, it makes me so angry, and I don't like to get angry. I normally walk away. It's easier for me as I got older just to walk away. But sometimes you can't just walk away. You got to say something.
Well, I think that people are doing a lot of things for money these days. And not only these days, is an old thing. And for that kind of topic, on that kind of topic, it's very easy to get a cloud chasing and a lot of viewers because usually it brings the viewers in. So for that, they are allowing themselves to act like idiots, and actually they are not idiots. They just want the money, and that's all.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And maybe, like I said, maybe I'm old school. I'm 61. I'll be 62 in December. And I started working when I was 18. And there was times when I was a single mom, I worked 3 jobs a day, to make sure I had enough money. Because back then, minimum wage was like $3.50 an hour. And, I had a house payment, I had utilities, I had a car insurance, so I had to have 3 different jobs to make all my bills. Oops, I lost you. I don't know what happened there. It dropped.
Button.
Oh,
Is
it's
it?
okay. So to me, I guess I'm just more old school, and you know, like I said, I worked clear up until I was disabled because I was working construction, and I was a carpenter helper. So I was whatever the carpenters were doing. We built homes from the ground up. So if we were, setting up the framework to setting the trusses on the roof, I would be
Mm,
clear up 30 feet up in the air, climbing ladders, whatever the carpenters was doing, I was right there. And my boss, one day, it was an accident, and he injured me on the job. And unfortunately, the injury was so bad that it disabled me. And so I'm not able to work anymore. So I worked up to that point to where I could not do it anymore. And I even went back after the injury and tried to work, but the nerve damage was so bad. It My ankle got broke, but the impact that hit my ankle was the doctor said it was like being shot with a gun, and it broke the bone that
yeah.
leg bone goes into my foot bone. And all the nerve, it had so much edema in that bone where it broke that the blood flow couldn't get through the edema in the bone marrow. So it done damage, nerve damage to my foot. So if I tried to stand on it for any length of time, the foot would swell, turn multiple colors, and they couldn't fix it. So
Well,
it was
yeah.
awful.
Sorry. I'm sorry for this happening to you. I know that in that area, in the ankle area, in the foot area, basically, there are a lot of nerves, and when they are damaged, they are damaged. You cannot do much about it.
Yeah, they called it, is it complex regional pain syndrome? I believe is what they called it, the final diagnosis. And they put a stimulator in my back. It had a battery, and then it had leads that goes to my spinal cord. And then it shoots shock waves down into my foot to
Mm-hmm.
try to keep stimulating the nerves as much as it can in my foot. And the first stimulator they put in malfunctioned, and the battery was too big. So I had to wait 3 years just to get that surgery done. So then I was a year with that in my back, and then they had to take it out and then put the new one in. Now, the new one, the battery's only about the size of a quarter, a United States quarter, 25-cent piece, and or a 50-cent piece, and
Yeah.
it works so much better. But there's no fixing it. I mean, it's what it is.
Well, usually for humans, what is, and not only humans, for every single flesh and bones, what is damage, and that's it.
I agree. Yeah,
But
I've had some
going,
really, I've had some really amazing doctors. They are the best, in neuro damage, and that's their specialties. Or like in our area in Ohio, they would send you to Columbus to uh, OSU hospital because they have all their training there, all the new procedures, all the new young doctors coming in, learning new procedures. And anytime that you run into a difficulty in my area, that is the place in our state, in the whole state of Ohio, that's where they send you. And that's where my final surgery, that's where they sent me. And they were amazing, amazing.
that's great that you have that kind of assistance. I can hear a feedback. I don't know if it's from me or from you.
It may be from me. I don't have a headset on. I'm just on my laptop.
Do you have the YouTube window open with sound on?
Um, I don't think so. Let me see.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is that this kind of niche that you are pissed on, like angry on about the topic that they are putting out there on YouTube videos, and not only on YouTube, TikTok is a big thing right now too, on this true crime, so-called true crime part. I think that this kind of niche was brought out to the daylight and put it out and sold very well by the fantastic, how to say like this, and Lorraine Warren, that from my point of view, they were just like selling something that wasn't true.
I agree.
And they keep doing it. I mean, the relative, they are keep like the son, the all kind of relative of them, they have all kind of rights to publish and to use the content on their cases, while the people involved, directly involved, that basically live the story and basically know what happened in there, they are not allowed to talk about it. And I think what is happening right now on YouTube is not new. It's just something that is just happening. And the more apps like the I don't want to talk. I mean, they are entertaining apps, let's say like this, for entertainment purposes only. But I don't want to give names. But there are many out there that the these people are using them and they try to conclude some facts. You cannot take facts from that kind of app.
I agree. And that's if you know, you were with me when I did my review where I was showing some of the equipment that I had, and especially
Yes,
like
I
spirit
think I
box.
I think I've seen, I saw that live stream. I was there. Yes.
Yeah, and I was explaining, how the spirit box, what it was. It was created for entertainment purposes only. It should not ever be used as fact. And same thing with some of the ghost hunting apps on your phone. The same, I went over all of that. And then I was explaining some of the equipment that I use because, the reason I did start this channel is because I was exposed to the paranormal. It was not something I wanted, it was not something I went out looking for. And I explained that, I believe, in that live stream. When I was 20, I had that surgery, and it was really, really bad. It was an emergency surgery, and they lost me twice on the operating table. And the second time I was gone for so long, they didn't know if they could bring me back. And they did. But it was several months, maybe later, that I started noticing differences. I could sense things that I had never sensed before.
Mm,
I could feel things I had never felt before. And no one around me was doing it. And so for the longest time, after I, realized it was just me and no one around me, I wouldn't talk about it. And what really made me feel better about talking about it was more and more groups that were coming out and doing paranormal and then showing the different equipment that they were using. And then
yeah.
I approached it in that manner. Can I actually use equipment to determine that it's not just me, it's not in my head, that this is really happening around me. So that's why all the equipment that I was explaining that I have, that is actually equipment that any professional in any field, say electrician or whatever, could go out and use that piece of equipment. It's a very reliable piece of equipment. And that's what this channel is for, is to let people know that yes, the paranormal is real. And that you really should be careful. Don't expose yourself to something that you're not ready to be exposed to, number one. But number two, if you are going to go into this field, research everything you can. And that's why I started this channel. Maybe what I leave behind will help the next person that is maybe ends up like I was, and needs answers. Maybe this will give
Mm.
them some answers.
Well, I think that some people they just got during their life this kind of skill, let's say skill, and some people somehow they are just born with it. In the both cases, I think it's very important to know how to deal with it, with that skill, when to say stop, when to say let's go, when to say let's move on and go and research.
I agree 100%. A lot of people say, I don't believe in psychics. I believe there is people that are born with gifts. And I may have had some some gifts that I really didn't even know about. And then because of the tragedy that my body went through, it opened up, you know, more. I mean, I really don't know how to explain what happened to me. And
Well,
I really
I
believe there is, like you said, people that are born with a gift. But yeah, you do. You have to know when to turn it off. You have to be in control because yeah, I will get completely overwhelmed if I don't say, please leave me be. I know you're here. Uh, you know, please, I need a break. You have to set boundaries. Boundaries.
yeah, it's like a regular normal relationship from my point of view, like with human with another human, because basically what you deal with, from my point of view, is another human, just in other dimension. So you need to, when you see that she or he tries to take advantage on you, you need to draw a line and say, you know what, let's take a break and we're going to continue later. I don't think that in my case is a skill. I don't have this kind of skill. I'm just, somebody told me at some point that I'm a finder. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
What was it? Finder?
I
What
mean,
what did they say? Can you repeat that again?
yeah, somebody at some point told me that I'm a finder, like, you know, those dogs that are are just using their smell to take the trace and find things. And she explained to me that basically I have that kind of skill and I was born with it. And during my lifetime, I discovered that when I want to find something, when I want to find an answer to a problematic question or enigma, or let's say, I don't know, unsolved something, I usually find the right answer from the beginning, and
Okay.
I know where
Okay,
to
I
look.
know what you're talking about. Yes, yes, I've heard of that. That is a gift. That is correct. It is a gift.
But I think this kind of skill brought to me some kind because of my family on and my history of my family, that in my family was already a door, an open door to all kind of things to come in or to go out. Um, so I think besides that, I was born with that kind of door open. I don't say it's skill because it's not a skill. It's not something that is attached to me because I am who I am. No, it's attached to me because my family, my history is, it is what it is. It is
See that?
heavy.
I agree with that because my family, if I go back to like my great grandfather on my mother's side, he married a full blooded Indian, Native American, and they had um, a completely different approach. You know, they believed in everything, so many spiritual things, you know. And that was, I think, passed down, like you said, through our bloodline and through our family. And even my oldest sister had told me that they talked about that they would have different things happen, you know, and they would call it an omen or a warning, you know, and stuff. So I believe it is. I agree with you 100% there. I believe it can be passed down. However, mine, I think, was more amplified maybe after my body went through the tragedy it did. And I think that's when I really started to notice things, more things.
Well, in my case, was the other way. Like, I had the surgery when I was 21 years old. So after that surgery, that's supposed to be a very simple one. I I fell into the coma, and after that surgery, all the things that I used to feel, they disappeared till one point. And they told me that I was pretty close to death. And after some time, I realized that what I see with the corner of my eye sometimes is there, you know, like you see a shadow. Now just light going in the wrong angle.
Yeah,
No, is there
you
or
see it
something
on your
like.
peripheral vision. You see it. You know it's there.
Yeah, but I'm not scared of. I I think I educated myself from a young age to take these things, take, I don't know if things is the right word, like these entities like they are and accept them. And I never demanded, I never asked anything from them, and they never asked or demanded anything from me.
And that is very, very good. Amazing. That's what I want to hear, because people don't realize on a lot of these ghost hunting channels, shall we call them, that
Hmm.
will go in challenging, they will go in demanding, they will go in, and it's they don't realize that probably 99% of the entities they are talking to are human. Now there is evil spirits. I will have to say there is evil ones. And if I run into something that's evil, if if I can collect enough evidence to present it to a group that I know is very good at what they do, they come in, then they do their own investigation, they verify what I say, validate everything that I have
Yeah.
seen, and they then will go through and do a cleansing. So I may be able to go in and collect the evidence for someone if a family calls out to me, and then if I can show that family all the evidence. This is, either something with a dwelling and it's actually just structural, it's not anything spiritual, it's not really a haunting. Or if I do feel that there is something there, it's all like I was explaining in that live stream. I have equipment that has cards that will, SD cards. So it has the graphs. Everything is fact. And I
Mm.
show them, like the one piece of equipment, it will has an SD card, but it does not have like your sound or anything. So I will put a still camera up there, a static cam. So that way I've got my video, my audio, and my timestamp. And it's recording that piece of equipment. And then I can use both CD cards and line it up. And then I can go through all that evidence and present it. And if I feel it's something that needs um, someone to come in, then I will refer them to someone that I know and trust, that I know even came into my home and helped me whenever something came. I think it followed us home because we were on an investigation, and we come home and we came in and we were coming across the living room into the kitchen, and a clock that's been on my wall for 5 years flew off the wall and hit the floor the minute that we come home. And then shortly after that's whenever I started feeling something that just wasn't right. Didn't see anything, just felt it. And then we actually videoed a shadow, and it would come out of one room and walk back and forth across the hallway. And I actually videoed it. And that was it. Just, I did not want to approach it. I felt that something wasn't right. And that group come in and they did find it, and they did do a cleansing, and then they left me material to continue the cleansings after they left, and then they planted a holy metal outside of my home in the ground. So they didn't just bless the inside of my home, they also blessed the outside and the ground. And it took months. And then finally it dissipated, it went away.
Well, from my point of view, these people, when they do this for fun, for entertainment, for money, basically, many of them, there are only few of them, I won't give names, they don't realize that when they do this only for fun, like they say, for entertainment, they actually, because they don't have the knowledge to do it or how to do it, they are opening doors
Yes,
and
indeed. Yes.
they let things to come to them, and they don't even realize that until it's too late. That's why if you go to many of these channels, that some of them are like 4 5 years old, many of them, they cannot do this as entertainment for a long time, because at some point, from my point of view, when you fake that, you, I don't know, you have a stroke, you keep faking in that in your mind. I don't know why, to impress people, to make people feel bad for you, to, I don't know, to, let's say, collect money or something like that. At some point, that kind of event is very possible to happen to you, because basically is like you are calling it, you want that. So when these people, when they are playing it with all kind of devices, that, yeah, they are basically, they are not based so much on science, they are very rudimentary, very raw, but they are doing something after all. And many of them, they cannot do this kind of content for a long time because they get affected. And I've seen that many of them, they are full of tattoos. I don't have anything against people with tattoos. My brother is full of tattoos, whatever, but he's not doing paranormal stuff. But I think it's something that is coming from our history, family history, and somehow in, deep down in his mind, he knew that he had to do something to protect himself. So let's say, religions, tattoos are protecting people. They can protect people from the evil. So I think somehow my brother did that for that. I never had a tattoo. I never had. I will never, probably I will never have one, but I always have my stones that are cracking all the time. And I do believe these people that are doing this kind of form of entertainment, they are doing it at some point in some extreme way, that basically are opening the doors, and they are not even,
I
you
agree.
know,
I agree. And once they open that door, if they're not protected, like I don't want to go into any investigation without doing a protection for me, and I have found that I want a white light. I will close my eyes and imagine the brightest white light that I can find. And I want to be like in a bubble of white light. But I also want to be able to be in tune with the environment and with the place where I'm at, to investigate so that I can get the evidence that I need to get it to help this family. But I also have noticed that most of them have opened a door that they should not have opened, and they were not really aware of what they were doing. So, yes, if they do open those doors, it can allow something evil to come in. And they, like I said, they didn't even realize how they done it or why. They thought it was more of a game, I guess.
Yes,
That's,
the game,
yes,
the fun. Let's have some fun, like Ouija board or something like that. But I think they don't realize they open that door, and it's very hard for them to realize that. And some of them, they are degrading, they are start to degrade. And I think from the individual to individual, I mean, if for you it's working like imagining that you have a bubble, an aura around you that is protecting you, that is working for you. But I think from each individual has another type of protection, and he needs or she needs to find the proper one.
exactly. You try them and see what works for you, because what works for me may not work for you. Um, some people, the stones are amazing because they are alive. Your quartz, all that is alive. It's a living thing. And for you, and I have some stones that I carry with me. Um, so there's different things that you can use, but you have to try them to see if they work for protection. And I
The
have
thing,
found if I am
sorry.
not, if I go somewhere and I don't feel, um, should I say, ready for that investigation, I will ask them if I can reschedule, because I don't want to go into something if I don't feel that I am completely ready, because I don't want anything to attach to me and, come with me. I don't want that.
Well, from my point of view, are not like uh, evils, malefic demons. I mean, you don't want to have a demon around you. I mean, if you're going to have that, you're going to know for sure. But they are like human spirits, humans. They are, from my point of view, are still humans. And sometimes they are so frustrated and so sad and so angry and so, like, imagine um, a human that is passing through a trauma, psychological one, let's say,
I
or
agree.
physical one. I mean, that human is going to be angry at some point, because after the fear, after the sadness, after the depression, it comes the angry. And when you are furious, when you are angry, even if you are alive. human. Sometimes you pass through people, you are in a crowd, and you feel that somebody has so much bad energy that you don't want to be like 2 meters around him in his area. I mean, you don't want to be close to him, even if he's alive, but
Exactly.
angry, and you can feel that, and you can take that energy, and that won't do much for him or for her, but will do a lot of damage to you if you're going to collect that energy.
Yeah, and people don't understand. They'll say, well, I got scratched, or I'm hearing, this or that. They don't realize that that person, that spirit was a person, and they're just trying to communicate. Now, like you said, some may have been angry
Mhm.
in life, so therefore they're going to be angry in the afterlife. Some of them may have just something happened so quickly that they're confused. But if you have someone who's a sensitive like I am, if you go into a place and the spirit realizes that you can feel them, that you know that they're there, that is like they've been trying to get people's attention, and all of a sudden they know that you can sense them and feel them, and they
Yeah,
want
and
to communicate
they
then.
want to use you. Yeah, they want to use you. It's like you are under attack. They don't try to attack you, but they try to speak, to communicate, to tell you something, and all of the sudden you are under attack because you cannot handle all that energy that they gather, or all that energy that they take from you to communicate with you. And even when I use these kind of apps like the entertainment purpose only, I always say you are not allowed to use my energy. You are not allowed to do any kind of thing to touch in any way my dog. My dog is protected, and so am I. Good morning, Thea.
Good morning, Taya. You're welcome to come up if you'd like to join in with the conversation. We're talking about the paranormal and misinformation, and we're really having a good conversation this morning. You're more than welcome to come up and join us if you'd like. But yeah, I agree. And that's where I have to be prepared and be careful, because it isn't that they're really trying to attach to me, but they can become overwhelming. And I have to say, just let me have my space. If you're trying to communicate, I have all this equipment, and if let's get some information, let's go over all this information and all this evidence, and then maybe I can help you. If I can't help you, maybe I can send someone to help you. And then you will notice that if you use kindness, you can get so far with these spirits, because they were human. Like I said, 99%. Now there is the 1% that is not human. And
But you're going to know that for
you,
sure.
oh, you know immediately.
Timmy, I think you need to drop the StreamYard link for Tia if you want to join. The toddler is up. The little baby is up.
Okay, let me let me drop it again.
I think if you meet that type of, let's say, demon, the fallen angel, I don't call them demon. I call them fallen angels. You're going to know for sure because They are very powerful and they are more than you can deal with.
Okay, she says she would, but her toddler is up and running now. So she's happy to be here listening, though. Well, thank you. We're so happy that you're here. But yeah, I mean, and that's why I started this channel. And then with my, like I said, my injuries, I was at home a lot and on crutches and cast, and so I really didn't get to go out a whole lot. And then the videos that I did put on there are small clips. I didn't want this to be like a gigantic channel that people thought I was here to be monetized to make money and profit. Um, some of the ones that are on there are very small clips, and a lot of them I was with groups. And when you're with a group of 18 or 20 people, your noise contamination is really bad. So I did put
Yeah.
on little tiny clips, which did show, you know, like the K2 meter, which is very accurate, um, or if it was, like the pink, I used some of the pink clips to show the different cameras that I use. The ones that's done in pink would be your, let's see, well, you have your night vision, which is has your infrared, and then
Mm-hmm.
pink would be your full spectrum. And a lot of times you may not see it in the black and white night vision, but you can maybe pick it up in the pink on the infrared. Now, green, for some reason, my eyes cannot pick up a lot on the green. The pink, I do very well. So I try to show some of the different equipment that I use and, the ones that I feel are very, very good. If you want to go out there and really do a 100% real paranormal investigation, these products that I'm putting out there and pieces of equipment I feel are very trustworthy, very accurate, and they can be used as fact.
Well, I'm watching a paranormal channel that is doing this for some time now, and I think they are taking this pretty serious. It's like a family, and
Now, is that the three brothers?
no, no, no,
Now,
no.
the three brothers are really amazing. If you've never watched them, they are really amazing. They don't go in, they do not fake anything, and they actually will do cleansing of the
Well,
home.
if they are amazing, I think you can tell me the name.
Paranormal Nightmare.
I
I'm going to
don't.
give credit to Paranormal Nightmare on here. Don't strike me for saying your name, but they are very good. They do not charge families to go into their home if they're under any type of spiritual affliction, and they will do a complete investigation, and then they will do a cleansing, and they will do follow-ups with these families, and if they have to come back again, they will. They are absolutely amazing, and they've been doing this for probably 15 years. But as children, they they had a experience as children, and no one would believe them. So as adults, they wanted to make a way to go out and help families that would be in the same shape they were as children. And they are absolutely amazing.
I think that there are pretty many channels that are very good with it, but they don't want to get involved with families, with real cases, because that means a lot of responsibility from my point of view. Like you said, I mean, you don't know if you do more damage or if you do a good thing. So many of them they try to stay away and just do this kind of exploring thing. Like, let's go in that building and research and see what is going on. The channel that I'm talking about is a pretty big one right now. Is a family. I believe that they do believe. I do believe they do believe in what they are doing, but I think the man, the boy, let's say the boy, the son, I think he has a pretty nasty attachment because his health started to degrade. He fell into alcohol and all kind of things like that. And he doesn't come from a family with a history of alcoholism or something like that, or drugs or anything like this. But he's not doing very well. And from my point of view, I think right now, when he's going to the places with the mother, the father, the brother-in-law, and so on, basically he's trying to reinforce himself in doing what he's doing, this kind of exploring.
I wonder if he got an attachment because if
Yeah,
if something attaches to you, and they can bring on oppression. It's, I mean, people think just because they have an attachment that they're possessed, they're not. It doesn't actually go right into possession. There's so many stages
stages.
that it will wear you down. You won't be able to sleep. Then you'll become sleep deprived. Um, and then when you're sleep deprived, you start hallucinating. You don't trust your abilities. It will wear you down. And then, so it's very possible that that happened if he was not ready for a investigation and it went too far and something attached to him. And with attachments, it can bring on many things that this person you wouldn't think would do, and then it will slowly just wear them down, and so that may be what happened.
I I think that I had an attachment when I was in my teen years. I do believe that because I used to have a lot of nightmares and all the time was the same entity, wasn't a human, and I know that for sure. And in my dreams, let's say dreams, I always felt like safe in my bedroom. And at some point, that entity that was presented in my dreams like a human, like a bold, tall man, like a hangman. I don't know, like not a hangman, like
Oops, sorry. Let me pause this. This is my neighbor that is paralyzed.
okay, Thea, how are you? I miss you.
Oh, she's so precious.
Is she?
Yes, she's my neighbor, and she had, I think it was MS, multiple sclerosis, and she's now unable to do anything basic. She can move her hands really good, but otherwise she's paralyzed. And she had asked me, her family lived so far away that she had aides that would come in, but she asked me if I could be on a list for her so she would not have to go to a nursing home. Oh,
Mm.
look, we've got someone else coming up. Welcome to the panel.
Hi. I wasn't gonna come up, but then you guys started talking about attachments, which I've always been like so fascinated by. I actually, on my own channel, interviewed a psychic medium about them.
And what was their advice?
Well, with Rick, what he said, and he's a very like gifted medium. I mean, he's said things to me before that I've never spoken out loud to a soul, but he somehow just picks up on things. But when we were discussing attachments and what can cause them to attach to a person in some of the better ways to like get rid of them. The one thing that he said to me was a state of gratitude repels attachments. And I kind of, when he elaborated on that, he was saying, like, when you're grateful for life and when you do pray to whatever God you believe in, when you're praying not to like ask for things and not to beg for things or be free of things, but you're praying to be like grateful for things and thankful for what you do have and stuff like that, attachments can attach to somebody who is in a state of gratitude and happiness. And so I think kind of what you were touching on, like when you've got, mental illness or you've got depression or you've got other things, the attachments from what he was saying, they thrive on that because that's a kind of state where they can really fully attach themselves and do their kind of bidding, if you will.
Exactly. You are 100% correct.
Yeah, I don't know, it's scary. He did say too to take attachments with a grain of salt because sometimes what could look like an attachment is just maybe something that needs to be addressed with like a professional, like a psychiatrist or a therapist or something like that. But he said that's the tricky part with attachments is they're so good at masking themselves in ways that you don't know how to properly treat yourself, which is terrifying.
Yeah. Well, seeing that's like with me whenever I had my experience and then I ended up, that's why, like I said, I'm in the paranormal field. I didn't go looking for it. It found me. And believe me, I wouldn't have paid for this and I didn't want it. And so my first thing was, nobody around me but me is going through this. So I did go in and I was checked by, psychiatrists. Is there something wrong? I was not depressed. I was not, I had no uh, drinking problem, no drug problem, no nothing, And so we had to eliminate all that. That had to be eliminated. And then
Right.
eventually I just learned to accept it. But it's also something that you have to be careful with, especially with me being a sensitive, because I can walk into a place and sense things that others can't. And if they realize that you can sense them, then they do want to make themselves known. But you always have to set a boundary. You can talk to me, you can communicate to me. I will try to help you, but you cannot attach to me. And you have to set those boundaries. You have to stand on that.
Right. Well, it's so interesting to me because Rick, that was when I asked him what was like the number one thing that like causes attachments, he said you see it a lot in like teenagers because there's so much like drugs and alcohol and negative influences and stuff. And then I asked if that was kind of the similar thing with adulthood, and he said the biggest commonality he saw with people that came to him that claimed they had attachments was that they had some sort of addiction. And he didn't say it was always like drugs and alcohol. Sometimes it was, gambling. Sometimes it was, doing like the naughty things with too many women. And it was just it. But he said addiction was the number one thing. So that's just fascinating to me that it like found you and you didn't have any of that going on.
Yeah.
Well, in my case, I didn't have any kind of drug problems or anything like that. But I had this dream with this entity for a long time, for when I was very little, for anything happened to me.
Can I interrupt you for just 1 second? Can you ladies continue to talk, and I'll walk next door and help my little paralyzed lady to get back into her home before it starts to storm. And you all,
Sure.
I'll be right back. I'll be,
Sure, I want to storm.
Hey, Luca, how are you?
I am good. How are you? I miss you.
I miss you. I'm good. Uh, hanging out, raising a toddler. She had her birthday yesterday, so she's 2 now, which is
Happy
wild. I
birthday.
know. Where does the time go? But yeah, so
Now
nothing
you
too
have an
crazy.
attachment for life.
I
Yeah.
Yes, a really messy, loud attachment.
For the moment. For the
You want a
moment.
cracker? But yeah, Luca, you're gonna have to come over to Rick's channel on Friday. We're doing we're doing a whole video with the spirit boxes and experimenting with it and stuff.
I think I put a notification on. I need to check, but I think the notification is on. For did
Well,
you put
it'll
it?
be on Rick's channel. Georgia,
Okay,
what
then
would you
I
like?
need to.
Oh, nuts. Okay. She's
Oh, nuts. That's an
yeah,
addiction.
it is an addiction. She's
Hmm.
obsessed. Her dad gets these sweet and salty chili nut blend, and
Oh my
she
God.
goes crazy over them. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool. We're doing like a couple of different experiments with it. We're gonna do. I don't know if you've seen the Estes method done, but
Yes.
we're gonna try that. We're trying to experiment and
Oh
see
my
if
God, don't try that. Don't do that.
why. It'll be
No.
fine. It'll be fine.
Oh my God.
I trust Rick implicitly. It'll
It's
be fine.
exactly what I was talking with Tammy. Don't do that. I mean, you need to buy a lot of crystal, clean them, and oh my God, you need to do a lot of things.
No, it's fine. I have my Bible and my crosses, and I've got God on my side. I think it'll be interesting because the experiment that we're trying to conduct is seeing if two people are emotionally connected, does distance matter? Like, can spirit communicate with two people even
Like
if they're
to
super?
to alive people.
Yeah, two people alive, if they're like thousands of miles away, but they are emotionally, spiritually connected. And
I
Rick's going to
think
try and
so.
tap into stuff. Yeah, so but we want to see if we can show spirit being able to connect with two people, even being thousands of miles apart. And we just want to experiment and see what happens with that.
I've been around of my haunted reservoir. You know,
Oh, I know. I've done so much research on that
I
place. It's so fascinating.
I've been very the view is so beautiful. Is beautiful. I mean, is beautiful. And at some point, I was alone, and I didn't go that only for the lake to see the view or whatever. I had a business in there. And when I left, I decided to walk. And I walked and walked and walked. And at some point, I said, wait a second. There is no car going, coming where I see no people. So basically, in the left, I had the lake. In the right, I had a field. And
Is
it
it
was like,
normally like a high traffic area there?
no, it's like, let's say, a country road, only that is
Okay,
not this,
yeah.
is paved or everything, but nobody's, no
It's like a
car
back road.
is exactly on the edge on the lake, you
Okay.
know? And I was walking, 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 and nobody was coming. Nobody was, nothing happened. And I opened my Google Maps and I said, where I'm going to go? Where is the right direction? And
Um,
of course, instead of going into back to my place in the right direction, even I had something to walk, I was going on this lake in the middle is a small island, and I was going in that place, and I said, "Oh no, no, no way! I'm not going to go that way." So I call an Uber.
Oh, geez, Louise.
But I didn't. It didn't even cross my mind to open one of my apps. I had an argument with my ghost on
Oh,
one apps. Yes.
you know,
I
I was just I was like waiting for you to be like, and so I pulled up my app while I was
no,
walking. Yeah, I was like, Luca didn't pull up her app and start chatting with a ghost. That's so out of character.
I'm a chicken. I'm a
You
coward.
know what? I am too. I'm a total chicken, but the more and more I dip my feet into the paranormal water, if you will, I'm finding I'm getting a little bit more gutsy and I'm getting a little bit more brave with it. But I think it's
It-
ever since I spoke to Rick about like spirit and attachments and how to protect yourself. I just try to remember all of the things I'm grateful for, my gratitude, my joy, and I just keep like, because I'm a Christian. I feel like we've talked about this before, but I'm a Christian, so I just
yes,
keep God
we
at
are
the
both.
forefront,
We are both. Yes.
and I feel like because I keep God so close to the forefront and so in my heart, I always feel very protected. Like I don't have that fear of getting an attachment or something being able to do something to me
You
because
know
I
that
know.
last time when I had our whatever ghost, I was alone at some point, and I recorded 40 minutes
Oh
me
wow.
talk. Yeah, 20 minutes were basically nothing, like noises and all kind of things. And after 20 minutes, everything started to seem like very intelligent, you know?
Hmm.
And I tried 2 times to listen that part, and I couldn't.
Oh, Tammy, are you back?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I have a little lady next door, and I love to go help her. Her family lives quite a ways away, and she does have aides that come in, but they are short on
That's sweet of you
aides.
though to check on
She
her and
doesn't, yeah, well, she doesn't have an aide till 3 o'clock, and she can't even get out of bed. And with me being disabled, she does have all the lifts, and I just push the button and lift her up, and she, and help her, do whatever she needs, or get her, something to eat or something to drink. And to me, that is just, her smile is worth a million paychecks. It
Aw.
just it's so
In
it's so
in here is we say that you pay the debt for the other side.
well, I have such a big heart, and they wanted to put her in a nursing home. And they said if I was available next door, since I was no longer working, would I sign the paperwork that if she needed me, she could just call. And I have worked as a CNA in nursing homes and worked as a home health aide. And I
I was
glad,
gonna say, I thought I remembered you talking about that in a past live stream.
yes, so I gladly signed the paperwork. And she is just so appreciative. I mean, just the little things. And she has such a good heart. But she had MS, and it's to the point now she can still use her hands, um, to control her electric chair. So she has a mobile chair, and she's so helpful. She tells you exactly where everything is, and she's just a sweet, sweet soul.
That's cool that you're helping her out and willing to take care of her. I know she probably is beyond grateful.
I know whenever I
Tammy,
was injured and I was on crutches and had a cast, and I had my Maltese. He was so, so sweet. I would have to just, move slow, and he would go a couple steps and wait and go a couple steps and wait. The one that I just lost, he was 13. And I mean, just, I kept thinking when I'm over there helping her about how patient my little dog was with me when I was not able to, just get up and go. And it's repaid. Nature even repays you. If you look, you get gifts every day.
that's for sure.
Sorry, I keep muting. My daughter thinks I'm talking on the phone with her Mimi,
Oh,
so she keeps going, "Can I say hi?"
you don't have to mute. I love children. I have 4 grandchildren.
You can say hi. You want to say hi?
Hi,
Hi, how precious.
Tammy. I was talking with Tia about my. It's not mine. I wish it was mine. My haunted lake around my area, and that I had a trip around there in that area because I had some things to do in there. And at some point, I found myself in the middle of nowhere, so I called an Uber and I left. So in the left was the lake, on my left was the lake, and in the right was the a field, but basically it's a paved road in there. I mean, you can go with the car and everything, but nobody was no trace of human, was no trace of car, nothing. So I said, yes, it's time for me to leave the building. So I left.
I don't blame you. I think I would have left too.
And I didn't open any kind of app. I It didn't even cross my mind. I was like, no, this was enough for me. I can, I even, Tia, I was thinking to you, I need to talk with Tia about this and how brave I was.
I'm proud of you,
I,
Luca.
yeah, I know. I
We're
didn't
both
do
getting
anything.
braver and braver.
I just, I just ran out.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous for Friday with Rick, but I'm getting brave. I'm getting bold. I'm getting more excited to connect with spirit, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my
Hopefully.
God, that SS method is like, oh no.
I
Now my
kind
daughter,
of like
my
the Estes
daughter,
method though, because I
now
feel like
my
it's a
daughter,
different level of authenticity that you don't get when you're just listening to it out loud.
yeah. Now as far as spirit boxes, I even think I said this on my live. My daughter loves to do the Estes, and because she can hear very well. And it's amazing because I will go through and do the history, but I will not share that with her. She knows nothing. Um, she a lot of times don't even know what location we're going to go to. She just gets in the car because she's ready to go.
Right.
And with the Estes, I have been so amazed, even though it is the spirit box, that she is answering questions that I'm asking and giving names that she has no information on. So, using the spirit box with the Estes, I am absolutely amazed. I think that is because you're already in the dark, you're blindfolded, all your other senses are affected. So, you really listen, you really
Hmm.
concentrate. And is the SD session liable? I really do believe it is. I mean, there's so many random things that come out, but the thing
Hmm.
that's actually been factual is amazing.
Well, I was telling Luca, which Tammy, maybe if you are awake at that time, you should totally swing by. But on Friday, my friend who I've talked about this whole live stream, Rick, we're conducting an experiment with spirit boxes on Friday on a live stream on his channel. And what we're going to do is we're going to do like the Estes method for a little while. We're going to just conduct a bunch of experiments. But I'm located in Arizona and he's on the East Coast in the Westchester, Philadelphia area. And what we're going to try and see is if spirit can connect with two people, even though they're in different locations, if they're emotionally and spiritually connected to one another, can spirit communicate between the two of them, regardless of distance? So we're gonna try and see, and as a psychic, he's gonna be able to kind of preemptively tap into whatever spirit he feels, and we're gonna test and see if he taps into something, can
Yeah.
it communicate with me because we're connected?
And I do believe it's going to work. I can tell you that right now, because my daughter and I have been 3.5 hours away from each other in different states. And she had the spirit box on and the blindfold. And I was at home asking questions, and she got the correct answers.
That's so fascinating. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm curious to see what the results will be, because I always take spirit boxes, any ghost hunting equipment, besides like temperature readers, I always kind of take with a grain of salt and try to keep in the forefront. Like, for the most part, it's probably entertainment purposes only. But I do think sometimes you get very genuine results. And I do think if spirit really does want to communicate, they will use those tools at their disposal. So I think a lot of times you are like, when you watch videos of people doing it, you're getting genuine results. Sometimes yes, but sometimes no as well. But I'm curious to see how it'll go for us personally doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, to actually use the spirit box by itself, I mean, if I get bored on a location, I'll turn it on. Same thing with my Ovilus, even though it's the original Ovilus, it's not the app, and it was over $400.
Yeah, they're pricey.
Yes, and it was made in the UK, so you had to pay them up front, and then they had to create it, because they only create them once they receive payment. So they're only made for the people that's paid in advance. And it took several months for me to get it. And of course, the Ovilus is just, you can walk around with it and it's going to just be spitting out words. But, I try to use every tool I have and then put all that information together. And I love the EDI because it has so many different features on the EDI. Plus, it has the SD card and you can record it in graphs.
Yeah, when you were showing off that tool on that one live stream where you were going through all your equipment and how it works and stuff, you were showing so many things. I was like, oh, I got to get that.
Yeah, no, I did charge the battery on my SLS, and I remember I was showing the G2, and that was the laser grid that I didn't have it charged. I do have it charged, and my only thing is I'd have to turn it on and turn it to the ceiling, because it has a bright red laser. And you've seen a lot of these that use the flashlight looking thing, and it puts the little spots all over the wall.
Well, yeah, that like green color.
Yeah, this is not that. This, my husband, when they go in to set like their framing, he has a laser that is for that, a framing laser. And it will lay out the whole wall where they can set their studs. This thing is that accurate that my husband could take this in and use it, because it is red and it does squares. And the whole entire wall is covered in squares. So something literally has to break that laser beam. You can literally see the shadow on the laser grid wall. Or if it comes up close, it will start alarming. And it has distance, it has temperature, and then in the center, it has lights. It's little squares, but they'll light up blue if it's cold and red if it's hot. If it's an entity that's warm, it's red. If it's an entity that's cold, it's blue. And it will even make like the squares will form an actual figure if it's a figure there that's breaking that laser. And I did get it charged. But I mean, it's a very, very nice piece of equipment. Of
Yeah,
course,
it's okay, baby. They're just using the blower to blow the leaves in the front yard. It's okay. It's nothing scary, I promise.
Just for entertainment purposes only, I want to share something. When I was like 25, I think, a friend of a friend invited us, me, and other people in his apartment. And I went in that apartment, and at some point, it was the living room, three bedrooms, whatever, the bedroom. And when I went to the one of the bedrooms, the main one, I think it was, out of nowhere, I said, in here, an old man died 2 weeks ago. And it was like, just went out of my mouth. In here, like I was telling the news, in here, 2 weeks ago, an old man passed. And the owner of the house was in complete shock because I was telling the truth basically. And after that, I remember one of them. It had a dog, a German Shepherd, with him, and that dog was kept going after me, like follow me in the entire house, wherever I used to go. And in one of the bedrooms was something like, for me, was very creepy, and I felt like in there something happened too. And when I look up on the ceiling, it was a blue ceiling, but not like the pleasant blue, like a darkish blue with all kind of uh, palm prints on it. And there was like, what is going on in here? And in the next second, because I got terrified, the dog tried to bite me. And that dog was very friendly. I mean, and that was very, very, very scary. And after that, we all gather in a, let's say, another room that was clean, and they all started to asking me all kind of questions, like I was like Nostradamus, and I was like, dude, I don't know, I cannot tell the future, I cannot tell the lottery numbers, I cannot tell you anything like this. You cannot make bets on what I'm telling you or not. But for entertainment purpose only, that was a funny story for me only, not only.
sometimes they will allow you to hone in on them. And there's been times that I've actually been sitting somewhere and actually almost like a movie flashes of things that happened.
Well,
And
actually, when I went into that room, in that bedroom, and this is the first time when I shared this with somebody, I've seen I've seen the old man in the bed dead. I've seen it. I mean, even now I can describe him. But yeah, but I didn't say that. I didn't share with anybody else because I said in my mind, if I do tell this, first of all, I'm going to freak them all, and second of all, they're going to say I'm completely crazy. So yeah, better make fun of them and make it like a joke.
yeah, and that will happen because I haven't had it happen a lot, but I went into a home one day just to, I can't remember. I think we were visiting a friend that had bought a home. And I kept seeing this little girl, and she was the prettiest little girl. I mean, just so sweet, and she was playing and going from room to room. And then all of a sudden, I didn't see her, and I said, "Well, where did your daughter go?" They didn't have any children.
Oh my God.
They had no children.
Ooh, that just gave me full body chills.
There's your confirmation. Yeah. And
Yeah, welcome. Welcome. Be careful what you let in because
Yeah, well,
sometimes they don't go out.
yeah, it's funny because I haven't had a whole lot of experience with the paranormal, like personally. I enjoy watching videos of people experiencing it. I've always been fascinated by it, but I've never truly encountered a whole lot personally until recently. Earlier this year, I had a really weird, I don't even, I guess, occurrence, but for a couple of weeks, I was feeling some sort of energy in my daughter's room, and it would always happen at night when I was rocking her and getting ready to put her down for bed. But in this one corner, I could feel something like watching me. I don't know how else to explain it. When I would look over, I couldn't see anything, but I could feel it in this corner. And like I was telling Luca while you were gone, Tammy, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. So the first thing I did was I closed my eyes and I started to pray. And then I just very calmly, like out loud, was like, I don't know who's
Did you
in
call a
here, but
priest?
no, I didn't call a priest. I just out loud, after I finished praying, I out loud looked off to the corner where I felt the presence. And I was like, I don't know who you are or what you want, but you're not allowed in this space. You're not allowed in my home. You're not allowed to be here, and you need to leave. You need to go. And
and you,
Well, I
so,
the
yes,
first
you
thing
stood
that
your ground, and that is very good because they will listen. They do hear you.
yeah, and it was as soon as I said it out loud and I finished saying, like, you need to go, I felt it leave, and I didn't feel that pressure or anything anymore. And I thought, okay, cool. But a
Yeah,
couple of weeks later, I felt it again, and it was different this time because it felt stronger. And I do feel like it was kind of maybe manipulating my emotions a little bit, because the first time I was more scared than anything else, but still calm and able to like think rationally. But the next time it happened, I felt angry. Like I felt a weird surge of just like rage. And,
and I'm
I
glad
closed my eyes. I'm sorry, what?
I'm glad you said that because, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, and from my experiences, um, spirits are energy. They are energy. And even with
yeah.
the equipment that I was showing, that's why I went with something that could actually show that it is energy, that something is actually happening in the atmosphere. And if you notice, it will come in waves. It's not constant. And I think what it is they use all their energy. If they see that you notice them, they will come back. And the next
Yeah.
they will be even stronger. And
Well,
as
it,
you,
it it freaked me out even more because as soon as I felt that wave of rage, I closed my eyes with the intention of like praying again and doing the same thing I did last time. But it still freaks me out to this day. I'm getting like goosebumps all over thinking about it. But when I closed my eyes, the image of my grandfather flashed in front of my face, and I was not very close with my grandfather. He was not a very good person, and he passed away years ago. He took his own life, and but all of a sudden I had this confirmation that that's who it was that was there. And I think it freaked me out initially, but there was also this kind of like comfort of like, okay, that's why he listened to me and he left the way he did last time. So I closed my eyes, I prayed, and I said again, I was like, you need to go and you need to not come back. I don't want you here. I don't want to connect with you. I don't want to speak to you. I want you to just like leave my space. I want you to go. And he left, and I haven't had it since. But the next morning, it freaked me out so bad. I was like shaking when I was telling my husband the next morning. So I grabbed my Bible and I prayed in every room of the house a cleansing prayer from the Bible, and then I salted all my window seals and my doors and everything after I cleansed my house. And I haven't had anything weird since, but that was like the scariest, craziest thing I've ever experienced.
Well, and you know, a lot of people say they don't understand why teenagers get a lot of activity. There is so many hormonal changes in a teenager, and I really think that's why when they hit that teenage years, if they do have experiences, there's so much going on chemically in their body that spirits are attracted to that.
Well, and I was talking with my friend Rick about it, and I was telling him about that story and what had happened. And he said, he went out in a negative way and he led a very negative life. So it's not surprising that his energy felt very negative. But he was like, I don't think he came back with the intention of causing you harm or pain or even fear. He probably saw that you were a new mom and saw your beautiful daughter and wanted to just see you guys, wanted to say hello. But because you felt the negative energy that he had when he was alive, you could feel that in his passing when you felt his presence.
Tia,
And,
you
and
know
you
what?
did that in a very good way, because if you claim your home and and you say, okay, I know that you don't mean me any harm, you just stopped to visit, maybe to see the new baby, but this is my home and you're not welcome here. Can you please, move on? And then you claimed your ground, you claimed your home, and they will listen. They will listen.
Yeah, it's been, I haven't felt him since. And now I can confidently say I know who it was. And even my mom, I was telling her the story and I hadn't gotten to the part where the image of my grandfather flashed in front of my face. But as soon as I said that, my mom, like she said, the blood drained from her face, because the entire time I had been telling her the story leading up to that point, all she could think of was my grandfather.
And there
And
was
then
your
as soon as,
question.
uh-huh. And then as soon as I said, and then when I closed my eyes, Mom, I saw, Papa. She was like, Thea, I have been thinking that it was him the entire time you've been telling me this story. And then you said that. And she was like, I've got goosebumps.
And I'm a Christian as well, was raised Christian. Even my grandmother was a Mennonite. And I really feel that, in my opinion only, a lot of the lost souls that are out there is because of the way that they did go out. Not trying to be evil or say anything bad, but they have to be lost. They are maybe still roaming. I'm not really sure, but I really feel
Yeah.
that does happen.
My friend, Rick, he said something that kind of it made sense to me, but he said a lot of times when you pass over, if you go out, using my grandfather as an example, but the way he did, in a very negative, sad way, a lot of times he said sometimes they see the light, but they choose not to go in it out of fear of, am I going to be allowed to stay? Am I going to be welcome? Do I deserve to go to the light? Do I deserve, And so they've left so much unresolved in life that their spirit struggles to move forward and move on and let go of like what happened to them while they were living. And he believes that that's kind of what happens with these lost souls, is they don't think they can go into the light, so they won't, and then they're just wandering around aimlessly trying to resolve things that they'll never be able to resolve.
Well, and I have experienced several times the haunting that they had. Someone had passed so quickly that I think they were confused. I really don't think they realized what happened. And through kindness and the research that we did and speaking with them, we explained to them what happened. And I really feel that they then accepted it. Sometimes I think they're just confused.
Right.
Yeah, the on the actually the session with so-called Jonathan that you recorded at some point when I was talking with him, I felt like I was in a trance, something like this, you know?
Well, and it's interesting though because with Jonathan, every time I like go back and listen to the audio files that we recorded with him, I don't ever get the sense that he is like a negative
Yeah,
energy per se. I think he's more just angry that he can't get whatever resolution he's looking for. Like I almost got the sense he was just angry that he couldn't seem to pass on and move forward into like the final stage, like that he's trapped here. That was kind of the
for
sense I
me,
got.
for me was surprising because when you listen, basically you did a transcript on what you recorded was completely different from what I was hearing.
Right.
And at some point I told you in private message, I hear this, that, and you said you hear a lot of things, and yes, I do, and I feel. I mean,
Right.
even was a recording, I feel them.
Well, and I feel like we probably did have very different experiences, and maybe you do pick up on more because you were physically there with it, whereas I was just listening to what was happening. And so when I go back into the audio files, I'm sure for you, your memory comes back as you're listening to them and you go, no, I remember this part. This is what is happening right here. Whereas me, because I was only listening and I wasn't like physically there, I was only when I was making the transcript for those audio files, I was only writing what I very clearly could hear. Because there were plenty
Yeah,
of things where I was like, gosh, that sounds like something. And I mean, I had to have listened to those audio files for hours upon hours trying to like really listen as hard as I could.
Have you
And
have you used the wave pad?
no, you know what? Because I sent it to you because I was curious. I sent it to you, Tammy, I sent it to Rick, I sent it to I sent all of them to Luca, and so I was curious to see what the three of you combined were thinking. I should do that though. I should go back
Yes.
and put them through that audio thing and clean them
Yeah.
up a little bit
Use
to see if it
use
clears it
the
out.
use the wave pad because there is stuff coming through very clear, and make sure that you have on good earbuds um, or something. But with the wave pad, you can actually slow it down, and it will actually show you like the graph, and you can see where the voice is. You can
the
actually
waveform. Yeah, you remember that at some point I tried to put the waveform. Basically, the
Yeah.
waveform is showing when even you cannot hear, like with the human hearing, you cannot hear what is going on the waveform. You can see that something is happening in there.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I like the wave pad editor for any of the audio. I don't even think I think it's free, but I really
I think
like
it's
it
the
because
same one that I use.
yes, and it's a very good one. And I mean, if and you can just slow it down, you can back it up, you can turn up the volume. I mean, I really like the wave pad, and like she said, you are definitely seeing on the chart where even though you can't hear it, there is still something below that. That's another frequency below. And so you have to try and again raise your volume and listen again and slow it down and keep it going back and forth. And you will pick it up. There is definitely voices there.
Well, the strange part about this is that everything happened on an app that basically is doing some kind of, you can do streaming based on this app. Is a very simple app for me. And it shouldn't happen, but from what I was reading on forums and all kind of things like that, people they are keep reporting this kind of white noise, and not only the white noise, even the sounds like let's say a gray noise, and that was very interesting for me because basically at some point when you are streaming, but it's not like a radio wave, it's not any kind of radio, it's just a simple streaming. You stream something that is recorded already, like a video or a movie or something, or you can do a voice chat. But all the time this came when I was streaming things. So at some point that was the very interesting part, because this happened after I play one of the uh, that family paranormal channel that is built basically by that family. So after that, this started to happen and was like, yeah, interesting. And other things happened. I remember that I was watching one of their videos, and I know for sure that I put the video on the pause, and I usually try to do that. I mean, you cannot unpause it by mistake. Nobody can, except if somebody in here. So I put the video on pause and I left outside with Eva, with my dog. And when I came back home, the video was playing. And I put again the video from the same channel. And I put again the video on pause. And I went to the kitchen. And when I went to the kitchen, the video started to play again. And I don't have a malfunction or something like that, something technical on the keyboard. Okay, Thea.
Oh, thank you. We really enjoyed you. You come back anytime. Her dad is calling. Yeah, they're using the airwaves and energy, and that's when I said, for people that do not believe that the paranormal is not real, they have never really experienced real paranormal. And the reason you call it paranormal is because there is no other explanation. You
Yeah.
know, no other explanation. You have used every tool that you can. You've checked the atmosphere, you've checked everything, and you cannot anyway debunk it. And you've had others to look at it. And whenever you cannot debunk it, it has to be listed as paranormal because it's something that is not something that would happen every day. It's not a normal occurrence. It's not an
From
atmosphere.
from my point of view, is not even paranormal. It's like, I mean, everywhere you go, you can meet something, let's say paranormal, because it's a lot of energy. And even if you look into the, let's say, Einstein studies, they are very interesting with the different, um, how they are called. I miss the word right now. Um, with the dimensions, uh, and he did a lot of studies on it. never finish them. And if you start to think from physics, like you can find a logical explanation for everything that is happening. Because even when you die, that energy, that the so-called soul must go somewhere. It's not like you are, I don't know, just I am dying. That's it. I am dead.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I believe that we are forever. Our energy is forever. And even once I feel that we are gone, if we really and truly want to come and visit somebody, I really think we're just energy and we have the capability of doing that. And I really feel that's what the dimension maybe would be, that you can cross through dimensions because you don't have the body form, your physical form anymore. You are just
Yeah.
energy.
Well, my my views on, I don't know if exactly fits with my religion that I was raised in, like Christian Orthodox. But from my point of view, I do believe in reincarnation, and I do believe that in each life we need to learn some lessons. Otherwise, we cannot go on a higher level. And I don't know, for some people it's stupid. Somehow is sounds like Buddhism, but I don't believe in Buddhism. I'm not attracted to it because basically the Bible, the Christian Orthodox Bible, doesn't say, it does say they are, is Lazarus case, like the Lazarus case, uh, that is talking about basically resurrection,
Yes,
but not like, from my point of view, like resurrected to learn something, to relearn something, to reapply something in the right way, in the way that was meant to be.
well, I
Uh,
know the reason I maybe think that there is something else out there was because of my experience when they lost me on the operating table. I could see myself, but I was not in my physical body. So there is definitely something else, another realm. There is something else because I could see everybody in the operating room and I could hear everything and I could see me laying there, So there is definitely something beyond our physical body and life. And that's why I must believe it because I seen it and I experienced it. And I left the operating room the last time because I was down for a long time and I was no longer in the hospital. I was somewhere else. And
but did you see the light?
no, the experience I had is I was walking barefooted and these rocks were so, I can't even explain the color, almost a bronze looking color. And they were flat and smooth rocks. And I was standing there barefooted and I had a gown on. Maybe it was still my hospital gown, not sure. But I remember raising the gown and I was walking on these rocks, and then a little bit of water started running between the rocks. So I had to step over the little bit of water to the next rock. And then finally it got to where there was nothing but I was on one rock and there was nothing but water. And I was standing there thinking, well, now what do I do? But I was not scared, nothing. And then all of a sudden, I heard this man speak. And I turned and looked, and there was a man standing there with me. And he said, it's not your time.
Well, when it happened to me, basically I was in a town like a, I don't know, like a doll's town. Nobody was on the streets. Everything was very clean. Everything was not so much colorful, but very clean, and put it in places. And at some point, I was walking like on the pedestrian area, you know, and on the road, on the part where the cars were supposed to go, come, whatever, was no car. At some point, I've seen my aunt that at that time was deceased for some time, and I had a great connection with her. And I think that was the only time when I saw her after she passed. And she was on a bicycle, and I was on the pedestrian area. And when I saw her, I wanted to run after her, you know, like, wait for me, where are you going? 'Cause wait. And in life, she was a very gentle type of woman, never angry, never uh, raging, very gentle. And in that dream, she was already passing me. She was in front of me, and I was running after her. And I said, and she came back to me, basically the head on the bicycle, and she said, "What are you doing? Are you stupid?" And she never talked to me like that in real life. I mean, when she was alive. It's not your time. Stay there. Don't go on the road. Stay on the pedestrian side. And I was like, okay. And I was frozen right there on a corner. And that was it. And after that, I woke up.
That's the way I was. The gentleman told me it was not my time, and he was holding my hand. And he said, it's not your time. And then I could hear my daughter, which was about 15 months old. And then
Probably you know that man, but you don't remember.
I know I did not know the man, but I was holding his hand. And then he did, I mean, his voice was so calming. And he just said, it's not your time. You need to go back. And the next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital, and there I was.
Yeah, for me, my aunt was very angry, and that for me was extremely shocking because in the real life, I never, ever saw her like that. Was always gentle, was always calm, was always like soothing, like very calm, very gentle, and a very kind type of individual. And when turned her head and she said, "Stay there. Don't go on the road. Stay on the pedestrian. Why? It's not your time." And I was like, well, okay.
Now, the gentleman that I seen, like I said, I was holding his hand, but right before he let go of my hand, she's asking, I wonder if it was your spirit guide, Tammy, one of your spirit guides. this gentleman had a scar, not on his hand, not in his hand, the wrist area. I really think that that was Jesus. And I really think if we research crucifixions, I really don't think the nails were put into the hand, because I don't think the hand would have held it. I wonder if they were in the wrist area and not the hand area, because I did see a scar, but it was in the wrist, not the hand, whoever the man was. But I was not afraid of the man.
Well, when my aunt turned her head and almost screamed at me, I got scared. But that was the only time when I ever saw her after her death. The only time.
Right before he got sober. It's a beautiful story. Oh, thank goodness. You know, and I think, like I said, after that happened to me, and probably after you wanted to find answers, you know. And is there anyone else that has experienced this? And that's why I'm really glad that a lot of the paranormal um, is more exposed with social media, and that more and more people can come out and speak about these things and not feel like people are judging you because they don't understand. But like with you, your aunt, even though she said it angrily, told you it's not your time. And that's exactly what the gentleman told me. It's not your time.
Yeah, only that in my case, she was completely angry on me. And
She probably did that because she knew that you would step out where you weren't supposed to. So she used a stern voice and said, "Don't, don't. It's not your time. Stay where you are."
well, in here, when we drink water, we say that a lot of trouble is going to come. uh, Many bad things are coming. But when you see yourself flying usually is like your relation with God. This is I study a lot about dreams and all kind of interpretation and things like that, because at some point I was dreaming I had a recurrent dream that I was drowning all the time, and I have that even right now. That feeling was so real, that like feeling like water coming into my mouth and into my lungs, and not being able to breathe and trying to get out from the water. Wasn't a muddy water or something like that, something strange about the water. Just actually the water was pretty nice. And even right now, I remember that feeling of drowning. So all the time I said, maybe in other life I had a death like this. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't know if we have another life, but I do know that after our life does end here, because of what I've seen, um, it's like we are forever. We do go somewhere else, and there is a whole, and it like us before that, I probably would have been afraid of passing away. And now I don't feel that. I don't have any fear of passing away. Not after what I experienced, because it was so beautiful and so calming. I mean, I have no fear of passing.
Well, is a Japanese writer that actually is living in UK. and almost won the Pulitzer, but he didn't after all. And I was I was reading his books, like devouring, and in one of his books was actually a collection of novels. Uh, I remember that in that novel, I can't even remember what that novel was about, but in that novel, two people were talking like about life, death, and was an old man and a young man. And the old man told to the young man at some point, after you going to be 27, you need to learn to get prepared how to die. And that was, I mean, I was trying to find the logic, and after reading some things, basically at 27, for most of the people, is the age when the body starts to decay, to getting old. You have you start to have problems like, I don't know, even they are not so visible, or you don't feel them because they are not so, but after 27 basically you start to get old based on what science says. I mean, on studies. It's not like something from just from a novel. But I was thinking, but in that book was the meaning was like in a spiritual meaning, like mentally and your spirit, you get your spirit ready to die. Sorry.
I'm going to, if I can find it here, I'm going to turn my camera on long enough to show Tia this. I want to make sure I have the laser pointed to the ceiling. Uh, oh, maybe. Oh, no, it's not going to do it. If I can, I've had it charged, probably where I haven't been using it. I don't know if it held charge or not, but I was showing this laser grid and it wasn't charged. The GS2.
Oh, so we won't see it?
Well, it's no, I have to charge it again. It's not. I didn't have it charged enough, so I'm gonna have to let it charge. Maybe the next time I come on, I can show it.
Yes, I want to see that.
Because right now, I mean, I have it, but if unless it's working correctly,
I think I've seen that on couple channels.
yeah, it has the direction, and then it has your distance, and there's so the light. It'll light up across the top and across the bottom, and if it actually something comes too close to it, it will literally alarm. It will set out an alarm.
Interesting.
And I mean, I like it because um, of the accuracy of it. but I'm going to have to recharge it.
I am the opposite of Tia. I will never ever buy all these things. Never. Never ever.
I, uh, I just slowly purchased mine over time while I was sitting here on crutches and in a cast, and I really couldn't do anything. And I just slowly bought, one piece at a time. And so it's, you know, that way, whenever I do go out and really start investigating, which I had to let my body rebuild to get me to the point, and even now I'm limited, on investigations. So, but I do now have the tools that I need to go out and I'm sorry, honey, it didn't charge enough. I'm going to have to reset it. I will reset it and hopefully have it charged, and then I'll come back on and show it. I don't know why. Maybe I didn't have it charged long enough. And normally, whenever I'm using my equipment all the time, the battery don't go dead. But apparently, I didn't let it get enough charge. Um, so I just slowly started buying stuff. So whenever I did go out for an investigation, I've already got equipment, that I have had time here at home to set up, to try it out, to make sure that it is what it should be.
I think I will be terrified to buy something like this. I mean, no, no way, no, 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 not for me.
That it is. That's what. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I started buffering and froze up there for a minute. Maybe a spirit's here with me right now. The home I live in is haunted, and there was only one bad spirit here, and the group that I brought in, they did do the investigation, they did collect evidence, and they did do a cleansing, and that one bad spirit left. The other spirits, I don't even know that it's my home. It could possibly be the land, and that's also told me that they don't even they don't know that it's actually my home that they're attached to. It could even be the land, and they are not threatening in any way. But every now and then, even if I'm on the phone, someone will say, "Well, who's that talking?" And I won't have anything on. So every now and then, they will let themselves be known. But they came with my home.
Hmm.
Yeah, they came with the home, and even the group said that they feel that the ones that are here are not evil. And I really feel that it is a father and his son and daughter. And that's what I was getting. And I even got their names. And then the group that came in with their equipment, they actually captured the same three names. The father's name is Tom, his son's name is Tommy, and his sister's name is Lily. And they got the same three names on audio and video. So everything that I had captured, they have captured. And like the little cat balls, I said those really do work for motion. I even had one on my chair arm and had my SLS camera trying it out, and the ball kept lighting up. So I got my SLS camera out, and I have that video on my platform on my videos. The boy Tommy stood by the chair and was literally kicking the ball. And I would say, "Kick it, Tommy." And you could literally see that on the SLS, him bring his leg up and kick, and then the ball light up.
Well, I bought a ball like that for Eva, for my dog, because there are some that are bigger, especially for dogs. And that ball was crazy, so I did. And Eva was like, interested in first 2 days, and after that was completely bored. Like, yeah, whatever. And that ball was crazy, was jumping all around, and basically it's the same things. It needs to be touched to get jump, not hit or something. Just slightly touch and it's going to jump or whatever. Depends on what pattern you're going to put it. And that ball was crazy. And I said, okay, I had enough with this ball. Eva is already bored with it, going to stay uncharged forever.
Now, a lot of the cat balls, you have to be careful because when the battery's going dead in them, they will just randomly light. That's why I like to have the SLS to see if there is something there that will pick up on the SLS when the ball is lighting, or have another piece of equipment like the EDI that has movement as well. And that way I'm getting more confirmation. So, that was to me major confirmation because the ball was not lighting at all. And then it started lighting, and I turned on the SLS camera and actually captured the stick figure. And I said, okay, can you kick it? And you could literally see the foot come up and then kick, and then the ball lit. So to me, that was like confirmation that that was not just a random thing.
Well, if I see that ball moving from where it is, I'm going to sell the apartment and move in other country.
I really don't. I think they are attracted to lights. Anything that lights up or makes noise, they really seem to be attracted to that. And if you have enough equipment there, you can actually pick it up through the piece of equipment that they're actually attracted to, and then other pieces that are validating that piece of equipment that's lighting up. So,
I don't, sorry.
if you're using it in that manner, that's giving you confirmation. That's not something that just accidentally happened, and you have different pieces of equipment showing the same thing, the same activity at the
No,
same
no,
time.
no. No, ma'am. No, no. Thank you, but no, thank you.
Now, there's been
Not
a
for
few times that I've said, nope, 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 nope.
that is a big no. Not for me. Not for me. Anyway, I have a lot of devices in here like electricity, and oh my God, my electric bill is going to come. Oh, my AC is on all the time because it's very hot in here, and yeah, and my PC is on, my laptop is on. I have two ambiental lights that are on. I have a vent that is on. I have a lot of things that are on usually. I have many lights on batteries too, but yeah, if someone want to use energy from this apartment, it has a lot of sources. Was
No,
something funny. I was watching a documentary about a case, uh, a haunted family, and allegedly the haunting was real, basically. So this family, four people, the father, the mother, and two kids, uh, they decided to buy a house, a farm, actually, not a house. Yeah, a house, whatever. Not a new one, an old one, pretty nice one, looking nice one. And after the second month, the electric bill came, and the electric they notices in the house that the light, because was a big house basically, in all parts of the house the lights used to go light by themselves, and they said whatever, we need to redo the all the lighting, whatever, electric power and whatever. And in the second month the electric bill came, and I was watching with a friend, and was funny because we in here in the summer we all complain about the electric bill. So the electric bill came for that family after 2 months after they basically bought the place, and was huge, extremely huge. And the dude actually wanted to call to electric power company to say that he has a ghost. And I was like, dude, that is not going to work. Believe me, it's not going to work. No.
I know. I went into well, actually, the photo that you see where my picture is there, that is a mansion, and it is listed with the historical society. And I had never been there, and there was a group that was there. So instead of paying $1,000 a night or $500 a night, it was like $100 for a ticket. And so I
Oh.
went, and what was really strange was whenever the tour guide started taking us into the one room, it was like a sitting room, and almost like if in that back in that time the ladies had their tea room, and then the
Mm,
gentlemen had their smoking room. So each, they weren't together. And when I went into that room and the guide was talking, I had a camera and I was taking pictures. And every time that I tried to take a picture in one direction, it was like black. I couldn't get a picture. And I thought my camera was malfunctioning. So I put that camera away and then used my other camera. And then we got up to the second floor, and there was scaffolding behind us because they're remodeling it, and that's why they charge so much, because it's for the upkeep and utilities, and they're trying to restore it back to its original, and that's
yeah.
what they use that money for. So we were all standing there, and there was no AC, and the windows were all open, and it was so hot that the men, you could literally see them drenching themselves from perspiration.
Mm,
And all of a sudden above me, it was like someone turned on an air conditioner, full fan, all this cold air, I mean, right down on me. And I was like, oh goodness. And the guide said, what? What is it? And I told her, and two people on the right side of me could feel it, and two people on the left side of me could feel it. So it wasn't just me. And then everyone started coming over, and they said, "What on earth? What?" And well, I knew what it was. I knew exactly what it was. So that was the first thing that happened. And I was like, okay, enough. Well, this followed me all the way through. So people were taking turns coming and standing beside of me because it was like being in an air conditioner.
mm,
So we did our tour, and then we got to the one area, and she was talking about it being the servants' quarters. And then all of a sudden, everyone in the group heard a gentleman say, hello. And everyone froze. I mean, it was just, no one was talking, but the tour guide, which was a lady, and a gentleman overpowered her and said hello. And everyone just kind of froze. And then after that tour was over, I went downstairs. I was like, okay, I need to step out because, I don't want to get overwhelmed. And I went to the door and there was a gentleman sitting there. And when you first entered in, they have like a little shop set up and you pull the door to the inside, open it inward and go out. I couldn't get the door to open.
Mhm.
He said, well, maybe it's just jammed. He said, that's never happened before. I've been here for 4 years. Well, he went over and he couldn't get it to open. So two more men came in. They crawled through a window and went out on the porch. And the one was about 350 pounds. And those two men put their weight against the door while the man inside pulled it. And they finally got it open. Whatever was there did not want me to leave. And I was like, nope, nope, no, this is not going to happen. And I went out. I had to step outside. I had to get away from it. And
Yeah.
the rest of the night, you could go in and out. I went in and out to smoke a cigarette. Not another problem. But whatever it was, it did not want me to walk out. And I was like, no. And that was one time I said no. Whatever it was, but it had been a mansion built for a husband and his wife. They were very, very prominent, and it was her dream home. And she only lived there 3 years and passed away. And then he remarried, and when he passed away, his wife sold it to a nurse, to like a hospital who used it as a nursing home for the elderly.
I think I know the location.
Yes, that was called the Anchorage. And there's been many groups that have went in there, and I can actually say that even with a group, there was a few things that I do. I think, a couple early ones where the K2 meter and stuff was moving. I couldn't do a whole lot because there was 18 of us in the group and there was too much noise. But the things that I could put on there, I did. And there was one area that we were standing when we were doing our investigation, and there was like 4 or 5 of us in the group. And one man is standing by the doorway, and he said he felt something. And I put the camera up, and you could watch an orb, a large orb came right over to that gentleman. And you could see him bend his head over, and he wipes a tear. He literally felt whatever we captured at the same time on the camera. So
Yeah.
that is definitely a haunted location. But that was one time, when I couldn't open the door, I couldn't get out. And even 3 men could not budge the door. I said no, no. And that's why I
How
said
many?
people don't think the paranormal is real. It is.
Yeah, it is. Are many haunted locations here in Romania, especially in my area. We have this reservoir not handmade, yeah, whatever, human made reservoir. And I think I told you in one of the past streams that used to be a graveyard where the reservoir was built on.
Yes.
And they never remove the bodies. And um, is a monastery close to me. They say that is haunted. I never been there. I don't want to go there. I know. And close to that lake is a road, uh, and there are many. Even there are a lot of signs like speed limit, very very low speed for the cars. All the time they are accidents in there. Basically, in that.
Uh-oh. Hold on just a minute. It's my neighbor.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go over and help her to do a couple.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I've really enjoyed you being here and coming up. I'm so glad you did. And we'll do this again, and I'll try and get some more of that equipment charged up so I can do another show and tell.
Maybe tomorrow or the next days because tonight, I mean, in here is already almost 8 p.m. and I need to sleep.
Yeah, I'll probably do it like tomorrow because I'm going to help her. It'll probably take me a little while. And then want to make sure she has something to eat and all of that. And I just love her, and I'm so grateful that I'm able at this point when she needs help to at least be able to go over and sit with her and get her a drink or help her do the little things that she needs. And that to me is amazing that, I'm able to do that now.
Okay, Jamie, thank you for having me here. Don't forget to visit Thea on her experiment with her friend.
And that's Friday, right?
Yes, I guess so. Prob for me is going to be Saturday, but whatever.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to definitely check that out. I want to see that and see how that what their experience is because like I said, my daughter and I tried that 3.5 hours distance between us in two different states, and it did work. It really did work. So I want to see how their experiment goes, and I think that the more that we can get, people, doing that, I think it will validate that the Estes method using the spirit box is a very good method. It's a very good experiment.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you again for coming up. I've really enjoyed having you here, and hopefully we can get some more stuff charged up, and we'll do a show and tell, and we'll meet and greet again.
Sure.
Okay, well, you have a night's sleep, and I'm so glad that Tia got to come up. That was amazing. Thank,
Sure.
thanks
Well,
for.
have a good take care of good take a good care of your neighbor and see you next time.
Okay, and you all have a blessed evening and blessed day. Thank
Same
you.
to you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.